Donald Trump had his first outdoor rally since the assassination attempt in North Carolina. And just like I reported to you all not that long ago, at this event, they introduced the bulletproof glass. And I gotta admit, it feels kind of weird because I've seen him hold so many events and there's never bulletproof glass, and now he's kind of like inside of this bulletproof box. But at the same time, it felt kind of pointless because he literally went in the crowd multiple times and stepped out of the box and was doing interviews afterwards. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, well, if someone wanted to try something, they could just wait until you step out into the crowd like you're going to anyway. So I don't know how this is going to work out. But then the news broke that someone was arrested at the rally with weapons in their vehicle, and they didn't give any extra details at that moment. So everyone was kind of on edge, like, damn, are they already trying to do something crazy again? Let's go ahead and check these news clips out, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
On what happened at today's rally, let's go to News Nation's Robert Sherman, who's live in Asheboro. What do we know, Robert, about why these people, or at least one, maybe two, were arrested?
Yeah, Elizabeth, it was about an hour after the rally concluded here. We looked over in the parking lot and saw this law enforcement presence, and then saw the law enforcement officials removing these weapons from the vehicle here, where at least one arrest was made. In terms of why they had the weapons here, if there was any motive or intention that was nefarious, we don't know that at this point. We're working to get more details. But it certainly underscores this concern of security that you've had, especially on today, the first rally since that assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania, that was held in an outdoor venue like this, and the first time we saw that ballistic glass being put to use. The Secret Service had said that they would be upping the security presence or parameters, but this is the first time we've seen anything like that. And with the campaign trail heading here to North Carolina, cannot overstate just exactly how significant this state is. The reason for that, you go back the last few decades, the electorate here has favored Republicans. It was only Barack Obama in 2008, the only Dem over the last few decades who has been able to carry the state. That's why it's believed North Carolina is a must-win for the former president to get to 270 electoral votes. Today, the focus of his remarks, national security. Take a listen.
Starting the moment I lift my hand from the Bible after taking the oath of office, I will move to restore America to maximum strength and return the world to peace. We're going to return the world to peace.
Tomorrow, the former president heads to Arizona, where the border will be front and center. Elizabeth?
Right, another very critically important swing state potential.
All right, welcome back here to the Hill on News Nation. Questions in North Carolina tonight as two men were detained earlier today at Donald Trump's rally in that state. Police reportedly found weapons in at least one vehicle. It comes as the former president took the stage behind bulletproof glass at his first outdoor campaign event since the shooting in Butler, Pennsylvania. News Nation national correspondent Robert Sherman joins us live in Asheboro, North Carolina, with the very latest surreal scene there. Robert, and what do we know about these arrests?
Yeah, Blake, it was about an hour after the former president's remarks wrapped, in which we looked out at the parking lot over here and saw this law enforcement presence surrounding one car. And then the next thing you knew, we saw weapons being pulled out of that vehicle, being placed on the hood and the trunk. At least one formal arrest was made here. In terms of why there were weapons in that car, or if there was any ulterior motive or nefarious purpose behind that, we don't know that at this point. But it comes on a day in which security is certainly front and center. The first time that we saw the former president giving an outdoor rally like this since Butler, Pennsylvania, and the first time that we saw this ballistic glass surrounding the podium. We knew the Secret Service was looking for ways to bolster protection, but that was the first time we've seen this on the campaign trail. Of course, the former president didn't necessarily stay locked behind the glass, as there was actually a moment during the rally which one of the attendees was struggling with the heat, and the former president came down into the crowd, gave that person a hug, so he wasn't behind the glass the entire time. But in terms of what people thought about all of this and the new move, Here's what they had to say. Take a listen.
I think it's a shame, but I think it needed to happen. We need to keep him safe.
I think it was smart. I think that they need to do that at every rally, just because of what happened.
So in terms of how much of this we'll see regarding the ballistic glass or how many of these events will be outside compared to inside, that remains unclear. What we do know is the former president is back on the road, heading to Arizona tomorrow, where he's set to focus on the border.
Now, I've looked into things, and as far as I can tell, I think there was some sort of road rage incident, some type of confrontation. I don't think this actually had anything to do with Donald Trump. I think there were two guys who got into some type of altercation and a firearm was brandished or something along those lines. But in the moment, no one actually knew that. The news just broke, a man was arrested, with this weapon. And we see Donald Trump's giving the speech behind the bulletproof glass. And I mean, even though this kind of turned out to be a non-story, there's still a story within it. Because it's okay, so the police, within a moment's notice, they were able to successfully arrest this man, find all of these weapons in this guy's car. They were able to stop this confrontation. The police, law enforcement, Secret Service, they were all able to do their job. But when it came to Thomas Matthew Crooks, they couldn't do their job. I mean, I'm just saying, just think about it. Law enforcement, Secret Service, they watched Thomas Matthew Crooks for literally hours, took pictures of the guy. They were texting back and forth about Thomas Matthew Crooks. Nothing was done. But there's a little altercation at a Trump rally, and it turns out to have happened after Trump was already done speaking and Trump was safe, and they were able to swoop in and make their arrest super quickly. They were ready to do their job then, but it just so happens they weren't ready to do their job during the Thomas Matthew Crooks situation. And, that's all I'm saying. I just wanted to make that point. Because it's just funny because, okay, so you can do your job when you want to, but when it came to Thomas Matthew Crooks, every red flag was ignored. Every single red flag was ignored. But, just hearing this story, it goes to show that, we need bulletproof glass around Trump. Because I think it's only a matter of time before someone tries something. And even if it's not the powers that be behind the scenes trying to take Trump out, I think there's a lot of crazies out there. And these crazies are constantly being inspired by the Democrats. I mean, did any of you all tune into the DNC? I get that with politics, you take shots at your political opponents, but the way they demonize Trump, it's in a different way. It's in a totally different way that, they do it in a way that really whips some people up into this frenzy. And it's almost an uncontrollable frenzy for them. We call it TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. But it's like the DNC was nothing but like a 3 or 4 day event to just inspire mentally ill people who were already on the edge to try something crazy within the next couple of months. And you would think that after what just happened to Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, you think they would just dial it back just a tad bit? Just a tad bit, knowing that, hey, some guy just literally, did what he did. But no, they're amping things up. And I'm sure they hope that someone tries it again. Let's just be honest. But for now, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. What do you think about the bulletproof glass? What do you think about the fact that Donald Trump just walks out into the crowd anyway? I mean, I'm just saying, folks, it's a scary situation, and we're living in some interesting, scary, unpredictable times. But let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell. And if you find yourself getting too worked up by all of this, remember, it's just political cinema.